Remember the last lesson I showed you how to make a VBA form. Unfortunately, we haven't got a dashboard working yet, and the only way to run the form is to go to Visual Basic and run the form, and then we can run it. But we don't want our users to be able to do that, so that's why we need to make a dashboard. So to do a dashboard, first of all, we'll need to assign some macros and then link those macros to a button. So you can either make your buttons first and then do your macro afterwards, or you can do the macro first. For me, I'll go to macros and I'll call this macro the address underscore details macro, and I'll create. And what I wanted to do, well, first of all, the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to open up the sheet that I called address underscore details, and I wanted to select that. So basically what I'm saying is open up this sheet. So when the user clicks the macro, I want them to open up to this sheet, which is address underscore details. And then what I wanted to do, I've called this form user form 1. So I'll call it dot show. So go to on the macro, we'll go to the address details sheet and it'll open up user form 1. So if I close that down, I've got a macro run but nothing linked to that macro. So I go to my dashboard, I'll go to insert and a shape. Let's pick a square button, put a button in, then right click the button and do edit text, and I'll call this input address details. It could be anything, it could be an input username details, it could have been anything. Input address details, but again, it doesn't do anything when I click it. Right click, this time assign it the macro. Well, this is what I said earlier, you could have made the button first, then gone and made the macros. I've already made the macro, and I call the macro address details. So I click OK, and it's now been assigned the macro. So now when I click input address details, and you can see I got test 5, it's opened it up. Test 6, address 6, update, and I've now added some more details in, and I can close my form. The only problem is, once I close my form, I've got to use the tab now to get back to the dashboard. It's just as easy. Insert, a new shape. This time we'll have an oval. Okay, I can put this where I like, so I'll put it there. Again, right click, edit the text. Back to dashboard, and I need to assign a macro, and so I need to bring up my developer tab and I need to make a new macro, and this time I'll call it back underscore to underscore dashboard, and I'll create. So now what I want to do, well, it's straightforward enough. Sheets underscore dashboard dot select. Why have I picked dashboard that time? Well, if we look at my form, there's address details and there's dashboard. I've called it, as opposed to being sheet 1 and sheet 2, sheet 1 is called dashboard. So I'll save that, and now when I click back the dashboard, and I assign the macro to it. Forgot to do that step. I've made the button, I've named it, I've created the macro, assigned the macro, back to dashboard, and I've now linked them together. And so I'm on my address details sheet. I click back to dashboard, and I'm now back to what is going to be my main dashboard. So I click input address details, close, back to dashboard, input address details, test 7, address 7, update, and then close, and back to my dashboard. And there you have the workings of a form to input data and macros and buttons to navigate between each of your worksheets. And along with the other lesson, VLOOKUPs, you should be well on your way to creating what will be a pretty good Excel spreadsheet. Obviously I've gone through this as quickly as I can. Just rewatch the video, pause when necessary, and hopefully you should be able to assign macros and buttons. Thank you very much.